Listen carefully, because this might be the most important truth you'll ever hear. A man without purpose is nothing. You can have money, cars, women, status, whatever you think defines success. But if you don't have a purpose that drives you every morning when you wake up, then all of it is empty. Purpose is the fuel of masculinity. Purpose is the anchor that holds you steady in the storms of life. Without it, you're just drifting, waiting for death. Look around today, and you'll see millions of men with no direction. They wake up, scroll their phone, eat junk food, go to jobs they hate, come home, play video games, watch porn, go to sleep, and repeat. That's not living. That's existing. That's being a walking corpse. And do you know why so many men feel depressed? Do you know why they feel weak and anxious? It's not because life is hard. It's because they don't have a purpose that's worth suffering for. A man without purpose drowns in comfort, and comfort is the slowest poison on earth. Understand this. Pain is not the enemy. Struggle is not the enemy. Meaningless life is the enemy. Because when you suffer for something bigger than yourself, the pain has value. But when you suffer for nothing, the pain destroys you. Think about history. Every man who left a mark had one thing in common: purpose. Warriors, leaders, inventors, prophets, kings. They didn't wake up asking, "What do I feel like doing today?" They woke up with duty, with mission, with fire in their chest that said, "I must. I don't care how I feel. I don't care if I'm tired. I don't care if the world is against me. I have a purpose, and I will not stop." You want to know why men today feel so weak? Because they are purposeless. And a purposeless man will fill his life with addictions, distractions, and excuses. A man with no mission is dangerous. Dangerous to himself, dangerous to society, dangerous to everyone around him. But when a man finds his purpose, he becomes unstoppable. You can't bribe him, you can't break him, you can't slow him down. A man with purpose will walk through fire, crawl through mud, face humiliation, and still keep going. Why? Because he has something worth living for and something worth dying for. So I ask you right now, what is your purpose? Because if you don't know, then you don't really know who you are. And until you find it, you will always feel empty inside, no matter how much pleasure you chase. The truth is simple. Men were designed to carry weight. You were not born to sit on the couch, waste your energy, and be entertained to death. You were born to fight battles. You were born to carry responsibility. You were born to look at chaos and bring order. That's what separates men from boys. But here's the problem. Modern society has stolen purpose from men. The system wants weak men. Weak men are easier to control, easier to manipulate, easier to sell garbage to. They tell you, just go to school, get a job, pay your taxes, shut your mouth, watch Netflix, play video games, and wait for retirement. That is slavery disguised as safety. And when a man accepts that lie, he dies long before his body does. He dies spiritually. He dies mentally. His masculine energy rots away. And then he wonders why he feels empty, why he's depressed, why he can't sleep at night, why he feels restless in his own skin. It's because deep down, your soul knows the truth. You're not living your purpose. You see, purpose doesn't just give you direction. It gives you identity. Without purpose, you don't even know who you are. That's why so many men today feel lost. They chase women, money, attention, validation, anything that gives them temporary pleasure. But none of it lasts, because pleasure without purpose is poison. Think about it. You wake up, and your only mission is to escape discomfort. You want comfort food, comfort entertainment, comfort distractions. You want everything easy, but do you realize what that makes you? A slave to your feelings. And feelings are the weakest foundation to build a life on. A man with purpose is dangerous because he doesn't bow to feelings. He bows to duty. He can be tired, angry, frustrated, or even broken, but he still moves forward because his mission demands it. That's why warriors go to war. That's why entrepreneurs grind while others sleep. That's why prophets spoke truth, even when the world wanted them dead. Purpose transforms ordinary men into legends. Now listen carefully. Finding your purpose is not about comfort. It's about confrontation. You don't discover purpose by sitting on your phone scrolling all day. You discover purpose by confronting yourself, your weaknesses, your fears, your failures. Purpose is born in fire. It's forged in pain. It's uncovered in silence, in discipline, in struggle. So here's the question you must answer. What are you willing to suffer for? Because that's where your purpose lives. Every purpose requires sacrifice if you're not willing to bleed for it. then it's not purpose. It's just a hobby. Let me give you an example. The man who goes to the gym casually, lifts a few weights, and leaves whenever he feels like it. He has no purpose. The man who trains every single day, rain or shine, who pushes himself when his muscles are screaming, who stays disciplined for years. That man is living with purpose. One will fade away, the other will transform. Same with business. A purposeless man will say, I'll try this side hustle for 2 weeks. Maybe it works. Then he quits. A man with purpose will keep building, failing, learning, and growing, because he knows his mission is bigger than his emotions. And this is why most men today are nothing. They've traded purpose for pleasure. They've traded mission for comfort. They've traded discipline for distraction, and society claps for it, saying, that's okay. Be yourself. Do whatever you feel like. Number that is the death sentence of masculinity. A man without purpose is like a ship without a compass. The waves of life will throw him everywhere, and he'll never arrive anywhere. That's why so many men live and die forgotten, because they never took the time to set their direction. But listen to me. You were not born to be forgotten. You were not born to simply exist and then vanish. You were born to carry a mission, and if you don't find it, you will waste your life chasing things that don't matter. Here's what's even worse. When a man has no purpose, he becomes dangerous in the wrong way. He becomes addicted. Addicted to substances, to screens, to lust, to cheap dopamine. A man without purpose becomes self-destructive. And when he destroys himself, he drags down his family, his community, and sometimes the whole society. History proves it. Every collapse of civilization comes when men lose their sense of duty and purpose. Now ask yourself honestly, are you living on purpose? Or are you drifting? Are you waking up with mission? Or are you wasting your mornings in bed? Are you moving toward greatness? Or are you letting the world drag you into weakness? Because make no mistake, your future depends on your answer. A purposeless man will always end up serving the purpose of another man. If you don't control your mission, someone else will use you for theirs. That's why most men are slaves today. Slaves to jobs they hate. Slaves to bosses they despise. Slaves to systems that don't care if they live or die. But the man with purpose is free. Even if he has no money, no resources, no advantages, he is free because he's living for something bigger. And when you live for something bigger, nothing can break you. So what's stopping you? Fear, laziness, distractions. The truth is, all of those are excuses. Fear is a liar. Laziness is a choice. Distractions are chains you put on yourself. You need to rise above it. You need to take back control. You need to say, I will not waste my life being a man without purpose. A man who wakes up without a mission is already defeated. He might be alive, but he's not truly living. He goes through the motions. He eats. He works a job he doesn't care about. He wastes time on distractions, and then he sleeps. That's not life. That's existing like a shadow. Purpose is oxygen for the soul. Without it, you suffocate slowly. That's why so many men feel lost, depressed, or numb. It's not because life is unfair. It's because they've lost their fight, their reason to rise. Every great man you've ever heard of, leaders, warriors, inventors, prophets, builders, they all had something bigger than themselves to chase. Alexander the Great didn't conquer half the world because he wanted comfort. He did it because his purpose demanded expansion. Nikola Tesla didn't die broke because he was unlucky. He sacrificed everything because his purpose was to give light to the world. Men with purpose move mountains, even if it costs them their lives. But here's the tragedy. Most modern men don't even know what their purpose is. They scroll their days away. They escape into games, drugs, pornography, or endless chatter because facing the silence terrifies them. In that silence, they'd have to admit they don't know why they're here. And that's the hardest truth of all living without direction. A man without purpose becomes a slave. He is enslaved to pleasure, enslaved to routine, enslaved to routine, enslaved to other men's commands. He can't stand up for himself because he has nothing worth standing for. If you take away his distractions, he collapses. That's weakness in its purest form. Now listen carefully. Your purpose isn't given to you by society, your parents, or your boss. It's discovered, and it's forged through pain. You find it by asking, what am I willing to suffer for? Because purpose isn't about what feels good. It's about what's worth enduring hardship for. Do you think becoming successful is easy? Do you think building a legacy is painless? Of course not. But when a man has purpose, he embraces the grind. He wakes up hungry for the fight. He doesn't whine about obstacles because every obstacle sharpens his mission. Look around. The men you respect the most, the ones who inspire, the ones you'd follow into battle, they all have clarity. They know who they are and where they're going. That's why they're magnetic. That's why people listen when they speak. A man with purpose carries an aura that cannot be faked. And here's the raw truth, money, women. Status, these things are not the purpose. They are byproducts. They are rewards that follow when you live in alignment with your mission. Chase women without purpose, you lose them. Chase money without purpose, it slips through your fingers. But when your life is anchored to a mission, all these things start to flow toward you because people are drawn to vision, strength, and direction. Purpose is what makes suffering meaningful. Without it, pain feels pointless. That's why weak men crumble. They see pain as punishment instead of preparation. But a man with purpose, he sees pain as a teacher, as a test, as the necessary fire that purifies his character. Let me make it plain. A man without purpose will waste his years in comfort. A man without purpose will betray himself for short-term pleasure. A man without purpose will be forgotten the moment he dies. But a man with purpose, he lives forever because his impact echoes through generations. Your purpose doesn't have to be grand in the eyes of the world. It just has to be grand in the eyes of your soul. Maybe it's building a family with strength and honor. Maybe it's mastering a craft until you're the best. Maybe it's creating something the world has never seen. Whatever it is, it must demand your blood, sweat, and tears. Because only then will you feel alive. Ask yourself right now, if I died today, would my life mean anything? Would anyone say I lived with fire? Would anyone remember me for more than wasting time? If the answer is no, then you have work to do. And that work begins today, not tomorrow. Every day wasted, without purpose, is a day you never get back. And life is short. Blink, and 10 years will vanish. You can't afford to keep drifting. So decide who you want to become. Decide what mission you'll commit to. Decide what you're willing to sacrifice for. Then lock in and refuse to quit. Because at the end of it all, there are only two types of men: those who lived with purpose and became immortal through their impact. Those who lived without it and faded into dust, forgotten, erased, meaningless. Which one are you going to be? A man without purpose is like a lion in a cage. He might look powerful, but he has no hunt, no fight. He's trapped, and over time, even the strongest lion loses his edge when he stops chasing his prey. That's exactly what happens to men today. They have claws, they have teeth, they have the raw power inside them, but without purpose, they rot in silence. Purpose is what sharpens you. Purpose keeps your edge alive. Without it, you become domesticated. You start living for comfort, for entertainment, for empty pleasures. But comfort is not your destiny. Comfort kills greatness. Every man who chose comfort over purpose became soft, forgotten, and irrelevant. Think of the men who built civilizations. They didn't sit around binge, watching other people's lives. They were out there building, conquering, discovering, inventing. They left marks on the earth so deep that centuries later, we still speak their names. That's purpose. It's not about living easy. It's about living heavy, carrying a weight so significant that it shapes you into someone unbreakable. And here's the hard truth. The world does not respect a man without purpose. Women don't respect him. Children don't admire him. Other men don't follow him. Because deep down, everyone can sense when a man has no fire. His eyes look empty. His words carry no weight. His presence is hollow. But when a man has purpose, everything about him changes. His walk, his voice, his energy, his discipline. It all aligns with his mission. People don't even have to ask what he stands for. They can feel it. He doesn't need to announce it. His life speaks louder than words. Now you might be wondering, how do I find my purpose? The answer isn't written in the sky. No one's going to hand it to you. You find it by doing, by fighting, by pursuing difficult things until something inside you ignites. Purpose isn't discovered in comfort. It's revealed through struggle. Go lift weights until your muscles scream. Go build a business and face rejection. Go chase a skill until your hands bleed. Go compete. Go fight. Go risk. In the battle, you'll hear the voice of your soul telling you what you were born for. You cannot find it by sitting still. And when you find it, guard it with your life. Because everything in this world will try to rip it away. Distractions, fake friends, cheap pleasures, addictions. They're all designed to pull you away from your mission. That's why most men die without ever fulfilling their calling. They get lured off the path. Don't let that be you. Let me tell you what happens to a man who rejects purpose. He grows bitter, he blames the world, he complains about politicians, about women, about luck, about God. He refuses to take responsibility. And slowly, he becomes invisible. Nobody listens to him. Nobody fears him. Nobody respects him. He becomes just another nameless man in the crowd. But the man of purpose, he doesn't need to cry about life being unfair. He doesn't wait for anyone's approval. He wakes up and moves forward, even when the odds are stacked against him. And because of that, life bends in his direction. People admire him, opportunities find him, doors open for him, not because he's lucky, but because he's unshakable. Purpose is not just about ambition, it's about identity. Without purpose, you don't know who you are. You're just an echo of other men's opinions. One day you copy this trend. The next day you chase that idea. The next day you change again. You're a puppet pulled by the strings of society. But with purpose, you become solid. You know who you are. You stand like a mountain. And when storms come, and they will come, you don't collapse. You bend, you adapt. Because your purpose is bigger than the storm. Let's get practical for a second. Every man should write down 3 things. What do I stand for? What do I refuse to tolerate? What will I give my life to? These answers are your compass. They stop you from drifting. They give your pain a meaning. They remind you why you fight when life gets heavy. Because make no mistake, life will test you. You will lose friends, you will be betrayed. You will fail again and again. And when those moments come, if you don't have purpose, you will quit. But if you do have purpose, you will rise from the ashes like fire. A man with purpose is dangerous. He doesn't beg, he doesn't bow, he doesn't sell out. He becomes unstoppable because he's not playing for short-term pleasure. He's playing for legacy. And legacy is the ultimate test. When you die, what remains? Your clothes, your car, your money, none of that lasts. What lasts is the mission you lived for, the impact you made, the fire you left burning in the hearts of others. That's immortality. So if you want to live forever, stop wasting time, stop drifting, stop numbing yourself, stop hiding from responsibility. Pick a purpose so heavy it scares you. Then dedicate yourself to it with every ounce of blood in your body. Because at the end of the day, a man without purpose is nothing. But a man with purpose, he is everything. He becomes a leader, a warrior, a builder, a king. He becomes the kind of man other men admire and enemies fear. He becomes the kind of man history remembers. And the choice is yours. Every single day you wake up, you decide, will I live with purpose? Or will I die without meaning? Choose wisely, because your time is running out. A man's greatest enemy isn't poverty. It isn't rejection. It isn't even failure. His greatest enemy is living without a reason to wake up in the morning. Poverty can be beaten. Failure can be turned into strength. But purposelessness, that's poison. It eats you alive slowly, day after day, until there's nothing left but regret. You can spot a purposeless man from a mile away. He slouches. He speaks without conviction. His days look the same. Wake up late, scroll, complain, eat, sleep, repeat. No fire, no hunger, no vision. And the scary part, he doesn't even realize he's dying while still alive. He thinks this is normal. But you're not built for that. A man was not created to be ordinary. He was created to fight, to build, to protect, to conquer, to leave something behind. When you strip a man of purpose, you strip him of his masculinity. That's why depression is so high in men today, because they traded mission for comfort, responsibility for distraction. Ask yourself, are you living or are you just existing? Living means every day has weight. Existing means your days blur together until a year is gone and you have nothing to show. Living means you wake up ready for war. Existing means you wake up already defeated. Purpose gives structure to your chaos. Without it, your energy goes everywhere and nowhere at the same time. One day you want to start a business. The next day you quit. One day you want to get fit. The next day you eat garbage. One day you want discipline. The next day you binge laziness. That's the curse of purposelessness, inconsistency. But when you lock onto a mission, you stop bouncing around. You commit. You endure. You persist until results come. Let's be clear. Purpose isn't supposed to be easy. If it's easy, it's not purpose. It's a hobby. Purpose demands sacrifice. It will cost you sleep, comfort, fake friends, and temporary pleasures. It might even cost you your life. But in return, it gives you immortality. Look at warriors of the past. The samurai, the knights, the soldiers who fought for something bigger than themselves. Most of them didn't live long lives, but they lived full lives. They carried their mission to the end, and that's why they're still remembered centuries later. That's purpose. It's better to live 30 years on fire than 90 years asleep. You have to decide what matters to you more, comfort or legacy. Because you can't have both. Comfort dies with you. Legacy outlives you. And here's the twist-ons. You commit to purpose. Even comfort feels different. A purposeless man enjoys comfort and feels empty. A purposeful man enjoys comfort and feels it's earned. The same pleasure hits different when it's the reward for struggle. That's why weak men and strong men live in different worlds, even if they sit in the same room. Now, let's talk about fear again. Fear will try to stop you from living with purpose. Fear whispers, what if you fail? What if you lose? What if people laugh? But that's all noise. Failure is part of the path. Loss is part of the cost. Laughter is part of the test. You don't avoid these things. You embrace them. Purpose gives you the backbone to keep moving, even when the world throws stones at you. And don't think purpose is something only the rich or famous can have. Every man has a mission. Your mission might be to lead a family with honor. Your mission might be to build a business that feeds generations. Your mission might be to create art that stirs souls. It doesn't matter what it is, as long as it demands the best of you and pushes you beyond comfort. The key is ownership. Stop waiting for permission. Stop waiting for motivation. Stop waiting for the perfect time. The perfect time is now. The world doesn't wait. Your enemies don't wait. Death doesn't wait. So why are you waiting? Purpose is forged in action, not thought. Too many men sit around thinking about what their life could be instead of living it. Stop overthinking. Start moving, build, fight, create, fail, rise. That's how you find your path. And remember this. Discipline is the weapon of purpose. Without discipline, purpose remains a dream. With discipline, purpose becomes reality. That's why you can't separate them. A man with purpose but no discipline is just a talker. A man with both becomes unstoppable. So what's the final truth? A man without purpose is nothing. He is invisible. He is replaceable. He is forgotten. But a man with purpose, he is remembered forever. He may fall, but he rises. He may bleed, but he fights. He may die, but his mission outlives him. The world is desperate for men of purpose. Will you answer the call, or will you waste your life as a shadow? That choice is yours. And the time to decide is now. Because when the end comes, and it comes for all of us, the only question that matters is this. Did you live with purpose, or did you die with regret? Choose purpose, or choose nothing.